Welcome to the World News. Interesting stories around the globe just for you. I'm Randolf Jamias here in Naypyidaw. On top story, we take a peek at the heated presidential debate in the U.S. Washington, D.C. residents watched President Obama aggressively attack challenger Mitt Romney on foreign policy in their third and final debate. Obama came out swinging in an effort to blunt his opponent's surge in the polls with 2 weeks left until Election Day. Neither man threw a knockout punch or made a noticeable gaffe in the 90-minute encounter at Lynn University in Boca Raton. With one last chance for the candidates to appeal to millions of voters watching on television, Obama was the aggressor from the start.
I thought that both candidates were very impressive, very articulate, seemed to know what they were talking about. I'm someone who leads liberal, so I definitely supported Obama more. I felt like he was a lot more clear, and he had a more specific plan, while I felt like Romney's plan was more general, so I didn't really know what he was doing. I didn't really know the nitty-gritties of his plan, so that's why I felt like I could trust Obama more throughout the debate. I think it was, as much as they stayed on the topic of foreign policy, I think it was interesting to hear their perspectives on foreign policy. I think they tried to take it back to domestic policy. I don't think the moderator did a very good job of keeping them on the topic of foreign policy. I think it was interesting to hear about Libya, Syria, and Israel especially. I think it was just interesting to hear them sort of talk about their policies about those. I think in terms of what they talked about in domestic policy, nothing was necessarily new or innovative.
I think it was pretty heated. There were some funny moments. Obama kind of made fun of Romney with the bayonets comment. And I think Obama in the beginning was very strong. And later on in the debate, I think it was kind of evened out a little bit.
Going now to China, a cold snap sweeping northern China reached central and eastern parts of the country, bringing sub-zero temperatures, snowfalls and rainfalls to some regions, China's meteorological authorities said on Monday. Heavy rains packed with strong winds gripped in the southeastern part of northeast China's Heilongjiang province since Monday morning. More than 100 frontier police officers were timely dispatched to help clear with shovels the accumulated snow, which was about 15 centimeters deep, together with snow sweeper trucks. The cold front also spread to Jurong County of Zhenjiang City of eastern Jiangsu province Monday morning, bringing rainfalls and causing the temperature to drop by 6 to 8 degrees Celsius, according to weather authorities. Another news in China, the e-commerce is booming in the country, and another group of online buyers has joined the game. Figures show that people over 50 years old make up 10% of China's web users, and among them, 1.75 million seniors had online shopping experiences. Given that the group has gradually increased their exposure to the internet, their demand has become a new driving force for the online market. Senior online shoppers are mostly residents in big cities like Shanghai and Beijing, each with more than 100,000. Most of their spending has gone to clothes, homewares, digital products, and skincare and cell phones.
One can never be too old to be passionate about new things. 62-year-old retiree Mr. Sun was among the first wave of internet-savvy seniors. Since he first started shopping online, he has been fascinated by the variety of deals to be had.
I can get exactly what I want online at lower prices than at a shop.
With his son's help, he learned how to create an account on Taobao, China's largest online shopping mall. He purchases mostly clothes, household goods, and electronics. Normally, he saves about 10% by shopping online.
We've bought a lot of electronic products online. The quality is good. Even if the shopping malls are offering sales, things are still more expensive than online price.
But for 61-year-old dancing teacher Mr. Yang, there are lots of do's and don'ts to learn about shopping online. Experience tells him to be wary of extremely cheap things.
If I find something with a third or even a quarter of the price compared to buying it in a shop, I wouldn't trust it.
Data analysts from Taobao are convinced that senior online buyers have opened up a new market for e-commerce. With their adaptation to the online market, the sector looks poised to take off. Wang Xinye, CCTV.
Let's talk about ecology now. Honduras opened a quarter of a century ago as a commercial crocodile farm with its eye on the European market, hoping crocodile shoes and bags would be snapped up by fashion fans. Unfortunately for them, the International CITES Convention bans all trade of artifacts coming from the American crocodile, considered in danger of extinction. The farm is hoping a new CITES meeting in March might allow some limited trade, but meanwhile, they're focusing on conservation. The park's star attraction is Jose, a 115-year-old crocodilus acutus. For the country, it's a matter of balancing their livelihood, which in turn provides fashionable bags and shoes to elite Europeans, and the conservation of the wild animal. Here's the latest in technology. A French engineer is offering wine growers an efficient way to harvest their grapes without breaking their back, a robot designated to prune and pick grapes for them. While Wall-E, the robot, is still a work in progress, wine growers who've seen it are sharing a toast to its potential. Jim Jury has more.
As this year's grape harvest nears its end, this novel vineyard helper could offer overworked winemakers a less stressful future. Wall-E, the robot, can drive across vineyards, test the soil and prune vines after the summer harvest. Its inventor, Christophe Millot, has put his creation to the test among the vines of Marcon.
Le robot, c'est simple, quand j'ai dessiné le robot, j'ai pris mes mensurations.
When I designed the robot, I took measurements myself of the width of my shoulders and the length of my arms to reproduce the same movements we make. The difference is that it's on wheels, whereas a human being has to bend to prune the vines, or sometimes move on a trolley.
With 4 wheels and 2 metal arms, Wall-E is fitted with 6 web cameras and GPS. For now, the robot is mainly limited to checking temperature and counting the number of missing vines, those which have died during the season. But Millot says his robot could be programmed to prune up to 600 vines per day. Winemaker Claire Gazot-Montrazi says she's impressed by Wall-E's potential and would welcome the help of an Android employee.
Il va pouvoir avoir en mémoire.
We will be able to remember each wine stock, count the number of missing stalks, and eventually help analyze the maturity of wine before the harvest. It may help observe the strength of the vines depending on soil changes the previous year. It helps in a whole range of tasks that we winemakers don't have time for.
Once final modifications to his prototype are complete, Millot says Wall-E will go into commercial production. A price tag of €25,000 might put off smaller firms, but the engineer believes buyers will eventually find them cost-effective.
Those who look for workers are unable to find them, or they get seasonal workforce that they have to train each year. On the contrary, the robot, once it's been trained, the following year it will be able to prune again.
Millot hopes that by this time next year his order book will be full, a prospect to which fans of Wall-E are happy to raise a glass.
We have one more news on technology. A 3D restoration project is now being carried out to recover the vanished grandeur of the old summer palace in Beijing. This palace, where the emperors of the Qing dynasty resided and handled government affairs, was burned down by British and French troops in 1860 during the Second Opium War. Since then, the old summer palace has been in a state of dilapidation and disrepair. Using modern 3-dimensional laser scan technology, researchers are able to retrieve the appearance and outline of each stone, creating a fully formed virtual image of the bridge's original structure. The same method can be used to virtually reconstruct the original layout of the entire palace. According to specialists, the amount of information needed to reconstruct each scenic zone of the palace is the same amount as the information needed for an entire city in modern GPS-type navigation systems. The idea of restoring the palace with virtual mapping technology came about in early 2002 and made great breakthroughs in 2005. And in sports, enthusiastic racers took to a muddy field in southeast England on Sunday for the British Grand Prix for lawnmower racing, marking the end of this year's racing season. Considered by many as one of the Britain's favorite motorsports and surely one of the most grassroots level, the eccentric event is devoid of the big business sponsors that dominate Formula One.
Personally, I love it. The wetter, the better. But yeah, you know, it's a skill to ride in the mud. It's not as fast, and obviously it's a lot harder.
There are no team orders, and mowers race on an even grass playing field, and machines are only allowed minor modifications. There are 3 different classes of mower racing, and in each category, everyone was vying for the top bragging rights.
I've had rolls, I've had spills, a couple of minor incidences, and won two races, but there are only 2 of us in it. So
I love the speed. You know, on a bumpy wet field. Yeah, I just love everything about it. You know, it's a thrill.
There was a striking atmosphere of camaraderie as everyone pits against the muddy track rather than each other.
Stiff, but it's all good-natured, and everybody gets on with everybody else, and basically it's just good fun, good healthy sport.
Richard Davis was the winner of Group 4, in which competitors rode the large tractor-style mowers. Thanks for watching. We'll be back shortly. Please stay with me.